This is the Champions Podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Champions Podcast with me here, James. And today we have a wonderful guest, a powerful and knowledgeable man. And he is Tom. Tom, can you say hi to our listeners and our viewers?
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Tom Otieno, and today I'm glad to be with you here on this podcast as we want to share on how Scientology is being impactful to the community. And I know it is going to be a very interesting talk, and everyone is going to enjoy it at the end. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining me today. And just us going straight into the point and into the topic of today, we are looking at Scientology as the solution or as a solution to the world's challenges. And here we are talking about the modern day wars, poverty. We are talking about corruption and leadership. We are talking about the education systems. We are talking about even how to elevate and how to increase the conditions of people. And today I just want to start with looking at this great challenge that is in the modern world right now. We are looking at the war that the United States and Iran and Israel are involved in. What do you think Scientology? What do you think Scientology can bring to this situation?
Makes sense. Well, thank you very much. In Scientology, there is this third party rule where we say that for when there is a conflict, there is always a third party that is involved. So we know that there is no war that can just start from nowhere. Two people can't just start hating each other. Like, for example, I know you as my friend, and we have good ARC. Tomorrow we can't just wake up and start fighting without a third party being involved. So my take on the wars is that even if you look at in the modern society today, when families are breaking, you will always find that there is one person who is a third party in the family. It can be the neighbor, it can be the person, let's say the children in the house. So a third party must be involved for wars to be there. And in this side, Scientology is bringing a solution on how to locate a third party and figure out this is the third party exactly, so that we can eliminate the third party and we can stay in good terms. If we don't find third party, then the war will keep on going. We'll find a war that is not existing, and the third party is always there when the war is there. He will be like, hey, so and so, what has he said? So and so, what has he said? And then he comes and brings the news to this other person saying, okay, now so and so is saying this. What do you think about that? And then he will be like, oh no, we cannot accept that one. No, 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 no. I'm going to tell him this, this, this. And then he comes back to this person saying, imagine person A is refusing what you said. He's saying that that one cannot work. And then these people are just going to keep on fighting back and forth. And the third party is going to enjoy seeing that now these two people indeed are fighting. So my take is that the third party law is what is going to bring a change if we are able to bring the tech to everyone so that they can understand that for every argument there must be a third party involved. So I think that can I know that will bring a big change to the community also.
Excellent. That is well put. You say that there's always a third party in every conflict and in every disagreement. There must be a third party. So for us to find a solution to any conflict, must always find the third party and deal with the third party so that the conflict is fully resolved. Thank you. That's a good take. You wanted to add something?
No, I'm just saying that if it's not necessarily among like individuals, but it can also be in nations. Like we have this nation or this country and this country fighting against each other. There also can be a third party in the states there, in the top administrative sectors, Also, when there is a third party, it affects the people who are now below the administrative area right now.
That also sheds light in the current war that we are seeing Israel and the America or the United States involved in the fight against Iran.
Yeah.
So amongst them, there's always a third party that has caused all these things to go down.
Exactly. Just to add on it, it's like, you know, when a third party is involved in a war, it may look like something small. It just starts from you receiving an information that so and so has said this, and you react to that without confirming if that person said it exactly. So it can be something small, but you will not realize how much effect that can cause if you did not know that this guy can be a third party.
Great, because now that makes the person also receiving the message or whatever communication being passed to verify such communications, because
Exactly.
you might end up reacting to a false allegation or maybe a false accusation, and you end up in a war that
Exactly.
wasn't even necessary.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so even for countries that are most likely involved in conflicts and in wars, they need to verify information and maybe intelligence reports that they are receiving from their agencies, so that they don't just throw bombs left, right, and center without verifying such information.
That is true. Yeah, that is very true.
Thank you. And maybe if we bring it closer home, we look at maybe the leadership and the corruption situation in Kenya. And it has been something that has been going on for a long time in different regimes and in different governments. Corruption, integrity, ethics, and all that. What do you think? What solution do you think Scientology can present into this into such a situation?
Well, you know, that is a very good point exactly, because corruption, it's just what people view corruption as a business. Someone wants to become corrupt in order to get some profit, and you will find that the profit the person is getting is just a very small margin that will not even benefit him. Well, Scientology brings in ethics and conditions, because, you know, ethics and conditions, I did that course by myself, and I was just like, every time I was getting wins after wins after wins, because you'll find that in the book, or in the ethics book, it's saying that honest people deserve rights. So if you're not honest, there is no need for you to have your rights. Then if you have rights and you are dishonest, you're fighting for something that you are not even doing. Do you see the point in that?
So if you're dishonest and you are a crook, you don't need rights, because you are fighting. You are not
You
fighting
don't
for those
need
rights.
rights.
Yeah, you don't need rights because you're violating them
Exactly.
in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah. So it says honest people are the one who need rights. So if you are honest, then the rights should favor you first before it favors the person who is corrupt and the person who is doing all these things. And then uh, when in Scientology also, there is this part that says man is basically good, so good that when he realizes he's becoming a threat to you, he lessens his chances of becoming a threat by quitting. So that's why you see someone can be corrupt so much, and then it reaches a point he just quits, he just resigns by himself, because he knows that he has done a lot of bad. So to a point that he's even guilty of himself. So he just wants to quit so that he can come out of the public face. You've seen situations where we say, hey, this politician has gone quiet so much. What is he thinking? Nowadays, we don't hear from him because he has done a lot of bad, to the point that the guilt is killing him now, that he doesn't want even to be seen in public. But he's the one feeling it because he's the one who is corrupt. So I know Scientology brings the ethics and conditions in solving corruption, which I know if it is brought in larger scale and now everyone is able to read and know that for him to have rights, he has to start by being honest, not just honest by himself, and also honest with the people around him. You can be honest with yourself only, but with the people around you, you are doing a lot of things that are not good. So if I know that ethics and conditions can actually bring a big change in bringing ethics in, so that everyone can now know that they are supposed to be doing the right thing. Because corruption is just a mentality. When you just want to become corrupt, you just become corrupt, forgetting that you are supposed to be like a person who is law abiding and a person who follows instructions the way are laid. What is your take on that?
Very true. Yeah, your point is really making sense, because you find that it's an intention. To be corrupt is to be intentional about it. Is that you want to take this away from people so that it benefits you and maybe the few friends or your family, while the rest are perishing or are suffering at your expense or at the expense of your actions. So I also the analogy that you have given, that man is good, that when he realizes that his actions are hurting others, he lessens his actions by maybe stopping whatever he's doing. Yeah, because I've seen others
By
maybe,
quitting.
yeah, they quit
Exactly.
only
Yes.
they either come back and start giving back to the society through these fundraisings and stuff. They want to give out bursaries, because it's like they have
Yes.
realized that they've done so much bad
Yes.
that they want to
Yeah.
it's kind of they want to like outdo the bad that they already did by getting involved in charity
Exactly.
and stuff like that. So it's quite true what you
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
It's
So
because also you'll find that there are some politicians that come into power and throughout their term they do no improvement, and then when elections is nearing they start new road constructions, then they will start campaigning saying that if you elect me I will finish that road, I will finish that road. So all that is just a matter of ethics. Without ethics you will not know what you are doing.
so that's very true, because so it means that when you're applying ethics in the right way, you should be doing the right thing at the right time.
Exactly, yeah. Yes, I got what you said. You said that when you are applying ethics, you should do the right thing at the right time also. Yeah.
Yeah. So that it removes these negative conditions and negative actions later, where you are now rushing to make up for the wrong that you've done. And at that time, sometimes the damage is already done,
Yes.
that there is no redemption, or maybe whatever good that you are doing cannot even outdo the bad that has already occurred.
Yes. And the funny thing is that when you're becoming corrupt, you will not know that you are becoming corrupt, because you will be receiving that money and you will be like, okay, at least I'm still benefiting. You will only realize how corrupt you are when someone points it out to you. Then you will realize that that thing was really bad. But as long as you're doing it, it will always be good for you. You will be like, this is like a business. I'm getting money. I'm not going into any loss. But the person who is going on losses, suffering losses because of you, when he points it out to you, then you will realize how bad you are.
Yeah, true. And then some
Yeah.
also end up in denial, because whenever their actions or their lack of ethics is pointed out, they feel like maybe they are under attack, or maybe you are unfair, or maybe human beings are flawed, and therefore you should not be pointing out other people's flaws. So, but ethics dictate that you do the right thing at the right time. Even calling out flaws is part of ethics, because you're trying to bring them back to the right way, or the right actions.
Exactly. Yeah. In Scientology, we say justification. When someone is now doing a lot of wrongs, he justifies his actions, saying I did that because of this. I did that because of this. And then in that way, he's now justified trying to make his deeds to be good. Yet we can see clearly that his deeds are not correct.
Yes. And it's a human,
Yeah,
it's a human thing.
exactly.
Great. That was just a very interesting input. And how about the condition of poverty in when we look at Africa as a whole and even our country, Kenya? We look at the condition
Mhm.
of, we see the unemployment rate is so high, and we see also this boils down to very poor conditions economically, and maybe you find that even the citizens are not even able to cater for the basic needs, or they have to really live at the very bare minimum. How can Scientology come in handy to sort out such a problem?
Okay. In my viewpoint, I feel like poverty to me is like a decision that someone makes. You can decide to be poor and you can decide to be rich. What I mean is that when you are down on the tone scale, it is up to you to bring yourself up the tone scale. If you are down on the conditions, you have to bring yourself up the conditions. If you are
Yes.
in confusion, you have to work out a way on how you can come from confusion up to affluence and power. If you are in grief in the tone scale, it is up to you to come to enthusiasm and to come into action up the tone scale. No one is going to do that for you. So, for example, you are at home, you say you don't have any job, and then you are now sitting in the house. You are not going outside to look for a job. You're not going out to look for means on how you can survive. And then you want just to sleep in the house in the name of you are poor. How are you going to bring yourself up if you're not putting in any effort? And that is the problem, because in Kenya now, people want easy money. People don't want to work to get the money. People want money that comes to them. That's why you'll find someone at home sitting and placing a bet and saying that if I win this bet, I'm going to have 1 million, and that is how I'm going to become rich. With that type of mentality, tell me, how is this person ever going to think and know that people are supposed to have money? And for the ladies, you find a lady is sitting in the house saying that there is no reason for me to work. I will get married to a rich husband and it's going to help me and I'm going to not become poor. So you will just stay in the house with the mentality of I'm going to have a rich husband. From where?
So it all boils down to
So
the
that is why I feel
to
that
every individual's tone scale or at the moment.
exactly. Yes. And it is a matter of you to see how you are going to help yourself. First, in Scientology, they say for you to be able to study something, you must first have the willingness to know. If you don't have the willingness, no one is going to make you understand what you are not willing to understand. So you must
Mhm.
have the willingness to come out of poverty, for you to come out of poverty. So, in my take, what I can say is that Scientology brings in solutions on how you can go up the tone scale, on how you can go up the conditions to the point where you are able to help yourself, you are able to sustain yourself, and then you can now help other people also. But if you just sit down waiting for someone to help you in this world of today, it is not possible.
Yeah, there must be some exchange
Yeah,
involved so that there's a win-win on both sides.
exactly. Yes.
Yes, and I also see that Scientology is really big on survival. It's really big on survival, and therefore you must be intentionally willing to want that survival in order for you to change your condition or even move from one point to another.
Exactly. That is true. if you want to survive. And then that issue of survival also, people view this survival differently. Others view survival as a way to survive for themselves only, but others take survival in a different way. They do very abnormal things in the name of survival, which is not okay. You cannot sell drugs and get money, and this money you use to build a house and feed your family, and then you say you are surviving. You are not surviving. You are surviving, but you are hurting other people. We are fighting against drugs, but you are selling drugs to people for you to survive. That is not a good way of survival. So also in this survival mechanism, there is a way that you can survive for the greater number of dynamics and not only for your own dynamics. So if you are surviving for all the dynamics, that is a good type of survival. It is not normal for one person to survive only for himself and the second dynamic. That one is not a good form of survival. That one is still not survival.
Because your survival should not hurt others, and also in your survival you should be surviving on the highest ethics, not on the lowest ethics.
Exactly, that is very true.
Great, that's lovely, very interesting. Very, very interesting, because you find that
Yeah. So
when Scientology brings all these things into perspective, you find that when you survive and you're okay, you are able to take care of another person, and that person is able to take care of the next person, and you're all collectively you are able to take care of the environment, and the environment is able to take care of you as it gives back to you for taking care of
exactly.
you. So the survival continues. And I also find out that I'm coming to realize that when we look at survival on a bigger picture, and existing on the highest ethics and on the highest tone levels, we find that the world will be a very better a very good and great place to be, because there will be no conflicts, because I want to survive and I want my neighbor to survive. Therefore, I will not want to fight them or throw bombs at them. And therefore, we are going to be living in a happy world. But here is where I want all the oil to myself. I want all the bombs to myself. I want all the technology to myself. So I'm surviving amongst a poor nation, so that I be the best and the strongest and the richest among the poorest. So I'm surviving at the expense of others.
Yes.
And when the rest will realize that they have been feeding my riches, my richness, and my wealth, they'll start to fight or pull away from me. Therefore, survival will not be happening at the highest rate there.
Exactly. That is also another point. It also goes handing on with politics. You will find that there are some politicians, for them to survive, they look at themselves only. So you'll find they're hiring even goons to go and silence other people so that they can be able to prosper even more, which is not a good thing, because for you to survive, you must survive in a way that everyone can see. Just as you have said, you must survive to the point that you are helping even other people, not only yourself. Surprisingly enough, one day when I was in a seminar, I asked my people there, and I asked them, why do you survive? Why do you wake up in the morning and you feed, you dress, you do all of these things? Then someone said, for my kids. Okay. Another one said, for myself. I said, okay. And then when I listed for them all the 8 dynamics, and then I showed them step by step, I explained each dynamic to them, and they now saw the importance of why they should care for their animals. I told them, you should have a cat in your house, because if you have a cat, the day you bring food, the cat eats. He will pray for you so that tomorrow you get food and bring again. If you don't have a cat, you will lack food. If you have a dog, the dog will always pray that may my owner get good meat so that I can eat. When you get money, you will buy meat and also give your dog. In that way, the dog is also helping you so that at night when you're sleeping, It protects you, knowing that if I don't protect my honor, tomorrow, who will feed me? Nobody. But if you are beating your dog, you are chasing your cat away, it will go and eat somewhere else and it will protect that person who is feeding it. And those people were shocked to see that even hey, animals can pray for you. They were so shocked.
And it is quite, because it also brings that analogy of care. And when you're somebody who
Yeah.
cares about survival, about helping others, and also about seeing others survive and do better, you will have less conflicts with people in the community. You will not be envious, or you will not be confrontational about other people's success. But if you're always about yourself, it's always about you and you. When another person tries to succeed or become wealthier or gets or becomes a bit successful, you will feel bad that why him and not me as always. But because you love to see survival happening, you will be so happy when you see your neighbor surviving in their highest level, another one surviving and climbing the survival ladder and becoming better. So it all boils down.
Yeah, that is true.
And it makes the world a better place. When we look at ethics, we look at surviving. When we look at the tone scale, when we bring all these things together, they play a very important role on a daily basis. Because even for us to have a good ARC, I need to bring somebody to the highest tone scale. I must want them to survive. That's why we are having the best ARC with them. If I don't want them to survive, I wouldn't even care about the ARC that we are having. Yeah.
You will be looking at them and you're like, as long as I'm alive, it's okay. But you don't know that one day you will need help and you will need this same person to help you, because the world just goes round and round. You help him today, tomorrow he helps you. You plant a tree today, tomorrow it gives you shade. You feed a dog today, tomorrow the dog protects you when the thieves come to rob you. So it just goes like that. If the dynamics, everyone understands the dynamics, because I've realized that not everyone understands all the dynamics. So once the dynamics are known by everyone, and so that everyone knows that for them to survive, they don't just have to survive for themselves or for their family, but they're supposed to survive even for the universe, then that will bring the world to a more better place, because now people will be understanding. We will not have people who are cutting trees. We will not have people who are poaching animals. We will not have people who are fighting against each other. Tribalism, this religional conflicts, Mara, this person is a blood, this person. We will not have those, because people will now understand that for you to survive, all of your 8 dynamics must be at one level. In that way, now you are surviving to the fullest. Not that as long as you are able to eat, to dress, now you are surviving. No, it doesn't work like that.
Excellent, and it is so interesting, in that I was thinking about the 8 dynamics before this podcast, and it has really come in so well into the discussion. It is very important for us to understand the 8 dynamics of existence, so that you know how all those 8 dynamics are interdependent and are dependent on each other for the whole universe to be to be stable and all and everything to work and align properly. Because you might get most of us get so much sucked in or drawn into this capitalistic world that it's always about you, and you forget about others. So you even end relationships, you even destroy good relationships by saying that, by being so selfish, because it's all about you and you don't care about the survival of others. But when you look at the 8 dynamics of existence, you find that you exist for others and others exist because of you. The environment exists for you and you exist.
Yes.
So if you find that you start destroying everything, you will end up even trying to destroy the environment. And most of us don't realize that this environment and the earth has been here longer than us. We were created and we found it here. So if you're
We
fighting,
found it here.
and if you're fighting an older thing, it has all the tricks and all the power to bring you down and even kill you. So if you fight the environment comes and brings tsunamis, brings floods, brings landslides, brings droughts and deserts, and we die of thirst, we die of hunger, starvation, we die of drowning in floods and landslides because we didn't think of the environment and wanted the environment to also exist on the highest scale. So true, it's really survival is interdependent, and it will help us fight the international wars and bring us peace and not have conflicts among nations and even in families and individuals and communities. Even when we look at the
Yeah.
dynamics of survival, I mean the dynamics of existence, it will help us even live within the highest ethics because we don't want to destroy or affect or hurt others at our own expense or be the best and have the best life, and yet others are suffering because we took what was supposed to be theirs. So ethics, all this revolves around existence.
Exactly.
The highest tone scale makes you exist and survive well with others. And Scientology is very much big on survival because we all want to survive and we all want to survive in the right way and in the highest level.
Yeah. Exactly. That is very true. Just to add on what you've said, it's also that as we say in volunteer ministers, that something can be done about it. So despite the planet nowadays having all of these challenges, all of these issues going round and round and round, something can still be done about it. But it is the duty of us Scientologists to bring the tech to them, to these people in the planet, because without them again in the planet, this is not a planet. But now that we have the tech, it is now our responsibility to bring the tech to our people so that we can view the planet the same way. Because for us, we know that we're supposed to survive for all of the dynamics. Someone who doesn't know about the dynamics will know only survival about himself. But until we Scientologists enlighten them about what the dynamics are, what are the importance of surviving for all dynamics, then they can understand it, and then we can now have a big team of Scientologists putting this into action, and then the world can become a better place and a more sane place because still something can be done about it.
Excellent. I think that's the best way to close this discussion today, that something can always be done about it. Something can always be done about it, about the wars, the poverty, the corruption, and the lack of ethics and integrity in leadership. Something can always be done by bringing this tech to these people, by bringing this tech to the world, by educating them and exposing them to the dynamics of existence. Thank you so very much, Tom, for this discussion, for joining me for joining me in this podcast today. It's been a great discussion on how Scientology can be the solution for the world challenges. Scientology as a solution to the challenges that the world is facing today. Thank you so much, even for listening and for joining us today. Until next time, bye bye.